Hello, and welcome to the final day of the Borders of the Galaxy competition, where we're struggling to get into the Legendary League. I worked out again this morning. Yesterday, if you watched the show, you just got stuck in the same place. Since Friday, we're in like the 3rd or 5th place of gold. And had we stayed there, would have been fine, except we keep slipping back. Is that the bots that keep coming in are very varied, and it's getting very hard to navigate up to that top. And so let me show you where we are now. We're at rank 37, which is disappointing because this exact strategy, because I marked it in Git, this exact strategy had us at rank 3 this morning. And there was the same thing yesterday. The strategies get knocked out, and it's a matter of endless tweaking trying to get them up there and to stay up there. And we can take a quick look at how it's performing, whether it's going to get higher or I go back to the one I had a little while ago. And where am I? Yeah, and we're going down. So this one's not doing well anymore. So a bunch of new strategy came in and messed us up. How many fights did I have left? Let me just check that. So we might get a little higher with this, but we're going to find out. I'm going to leave it for a little bit. For those of you who actually didn't catch the rest of the show, this is new to what we're doing is we're playing this game called Borders of the Galaxy, where we program bots, and we're using Rust as a programming language. And we started doing Rust in January to learn a new language and to just have fun with bots. So I was new to AI at the time as well. I've learned a lot. And this bots galaxy here, let's play another one here, and you can see that little bots come. And this is the boss of this level, of the gold thing. And if we beat the boss, well, you don't have to beat the boss, we have to get by the boss and all the people below him to get into Legendary. And I was doing well with the boss. We kind of took the easy approach, but we don't always beat him. You can watch this one, we lose. Whenever there's a group nearby, we win. If we could figure out how to beat him without that, then we'd be okay. But there's something in my strategy, we just do the wrong thing. We die too easily. And that's the one thing I'm really missing, is I don't know why we die sometimes. And we're going to keep looking at it today. We're going to see what happens. We're going to spend a couple hours in this and see where we go. And wherever we are in like a couple hours, that's just the way it's going to stand. I mean, I can't spend forever on this. There's a lot of things in this strategy I actually want to do, and I can go over them when we get there, but the code is not structured in a way that's going to make that really certainly pleasant anymore. And so we don't want to refactor too much. So it's climbing up. The way we beat Star-Lord now is in some of them, and I don't know what happened. We were beating Star-Lord more often. There's a lot of randomness in the game, and it's not really, it's deterministic, but there's a lot of randomness in the way the items are selected and where the trees are. And I keep playing. I mean, I was beating him earlier. 5 and 6 games I had beaten him, so I don't know what happened here. Maybe this code is the wrong code. Oh, maybe this is the code that couldn't be started. So here's one where we beat Star-Lord. And this is just kind of a lucky one, though. Trying to see how we beat him. So we're not far off from it. I have a Groot attacking strategy, which is not apparent here. Everybody's taken over the strategy now of attacking Groots, which makes it a lot harder. There's been some melee strategies that come in that make it a lot harder. And it really looks like we're just stuck in the leaderboard at 35. I doubt we'll get higher. The turnaround time here is also so slow now that it makes it really hard to experiment in strategies. So let me go to Git. I'm going to check out our branches here. And go back to master. And then we're going to rebuild this. And we're just going to submit this new one again. Oops, where is this one? I'm going to force it to upload it. And we'll play it once, and then we'll see what happens, and we'll go from here. But we'll start from the new one because it doesn't look like my old one again. This old one was at 3 this morning, and it just got knocked down. My new one actually got up to 15, 10 and stuff, so... But again, it may not be there anymore. And I just compile one split, and we'll just submit it directly. And what we're going to look at is who's beating us still and try to just maybe piecemeal get it done. And I can tell you some of the things I've changed as we see them. We've I've had to put a lot of sort of patches in for melee strategies because a lot of people are coming in with Hulk, as you see now. We can actually see this one. So I can run away from Hulk, that's fine. And this guy has a degenerate strategy. His strategy breaks, and so we run away. And one of the key things I did is that if their Hulk actually walks into our bush, we run away as well. And I don't know who wins this one. Looks like we win this one as well. So they have a... This is a very standard Iron Man versus Dr. Drain matchup. And this is how I activated the Groot at the top. You see that? And he goes and attacks him. And this can get really annoying if the other player hasn't dealt with the Groot or doesn't do this. And the Groot can see them in bushes, which makes it really hard for them to escape then if they haven't considered the fact. Alright, I don't know what happens in the next one. Looks like we win this one too. And so this is Deadpool and Hulk. It's another melee strategy. And we go hide, but if they get close, you have to move away anyways. And it's very difficult. And see, we run to another bush, and we just kind of run around and hide until they get to us, and then we run away. And this one is like super close. Like, he actually died just slightly before us. And again, that's that Groot activation strategy. It comes up and knocks from behind. So his strategy isn't even considering the Groots. You notice he just stood there and took the beating. And I had to put code in ours to actually make sure the fact if there's a Groot nearby, we actually kill it. Or run away from it. And it looks like he dies in this one as well. And we're sitting a bit further back, which means we don't kill as many units. That's the first thing I'll change afterwards if we don't get high enough, is I have to make it a bit more aggressive. But that makes it really easy to kill. Omar, I don't have a mechanical keyboard. I would love to have a silent keyboard, to be honest. If I'm going to have this noisy one, I might as well have a mechanical one. But I'm actually looking for a silent keyboard. If anybody knows a branded keyboard that's absolutely silent, I would love it. And so far, this really cheap Logitech K120 is the quietest one I found. I found one from Cherry, which was a non-mechanical keyboard. But the keys didn't respond correctly, so I sent that back. I mean, there's no point in having a keyboard where you have to hit the keys direct center for them to work. That's just a pain. Hey, look, a whole bunch of people knocked Star-Lord down. That's weird. So somebody's knocking Star-Lord down, which is great if we could get up there, because that would put us closer to the top. So unfortunately, we have to kind of just let it run a while because we don't really know where we're sitting. And because all the strategies are just sitting close together right now, it's very hard to pick one and say, well, we're losing against this guy more often because you may only have the same matchup once. And so you really don't know. You can look at it and tweak it, but it might have just been an unlucky set of the items or something. And there's so many small details. The other thing I added to my strategy now is I saw in a few games is that we would have Iron Man, we'd have one of his heroes in really low health, and in really low health, my Iron Man could actually slit a fireball and kill him, and I was just watching him sit there and I would die in that case. So now I have an extra if statement there somewhere, and I can find that one saying basically if I have an opportunity to kill against this guy, then just take it. I don't know how well that works. It's very hard to find in practice. It may only affect 1 or 2 games. And this is this if attack hero range. This is opportunity to kill here. Basically, I filter through and I find it. Calculate the damage the thing does. Hey, Sinclair. So we calculate the damage it does. The fireball does what our current mana is times 0.2 plus 55 divided by 1,000 times the distance from our hero to the other guy. And I subtract the movement speed to reduce it just in case they move. And Corin, and then I check if the damage of the fireball will kill the hero immediately, then I take the shot. Otherwise, I go to the normal strategy, and this is the activate group strategy, and it's very conservative here as well. Make sure I activate one that's close enough to them, but not too close to me, otherwise it'll attack me. And then otherwise I filter. And then the last thing in fireball is basically, unless I have maximum mana, just don't cast a fireball otherwise, because it doesn't do enough damage. But the positioning of this thing is I do run away first, and you can see here I do an if near Groot, and this is the one that says I had to have this today. Was basically there's too many Grooting strategies, so I had to actually check, is there a Groot here? If there is, let's kill it. And the other one is run away still on top. I could in theory just say run away from a Groot because they leave, but so far it's been better to kill them. Again, there's so many varied strategies, it's very hard to say which one's the best, and then I do attack range. And what do we have else? Where are we? We're at 35 in the ranking. We're going to get really... Who knows? This is... looks slightly better than the other one. Hard to say. Anybody commenting? No. Okay, so what do we have? So this one actually gets slightly higher, and I think it was consistently a bit higher. And I'm looking for some way to get it that little extra bit. Now you can even use the, let's go over to the code site. We can use the rank checker as well to see where we are. And that's right here, Megas CC stats. We're on contests, Daughters of the Galaxy, Evening Rust. Here we go. And this gives us stats on all the fights we've done recently. And we haven't done too many right now. So the issue is here is that it's delayed a little bit. But also because the game's really slow, you don't get a lot of fights in. And so you can see here basically this would be a candidate for Wylek that we would attack him. We would work on his strategy. But if we look at the leaderboard, I've also identified the other people which we've had problems against. And so some of these guys are going away, which is great. Great for us to have people going off to Legend. That's really actually great for us. And so we're here, but these guys in front of us, we had a problem with Kiwi Blue before, but I found a way to just clean up my strategy so he doesn't kill me anymore. But Boulay, he's been on and off a problem. And so I think he's working on a strategy today. He's not here anymore, but he's been working on it. And edA-qa's been a problem on and off. And he's modifying it a lot, and so it's really tweaking in it. We're back and forth quite a bit on that, whether I can beat edA-qa. And the other guy, he's not even on here anymore. There is Tsukamo. Tsukamo's been a problem for us as well. And so in 3 minutes, hopefully these three guys will go away. That should bump us up a bit. And so this strategy is performing better now than it actually was an hour ago when I wrote it. An hour ago I took a nap and just went to sleep. And so this is performing better now than the one I wrote this morning that was actually up at 3. Now this is really surprising. What's going on here? Why is Star-Lord so far down? What's happened to Star-Lord? Did somebody change Star-Lord or something? It's really weird because we're like really close now, but because these guys at the top, Tsukamo, edA-qa, and Takeo was also on this, but these guys were actually part of the reason I was pushing push down. If they disappeared, I'd be probably better off. But then again, new strategies might come in right away. So like right now, we're stuck in the situation. I can't really submit anything new. We have to see how this plays out, because I'm not even at halfway yet. And let's see what happens. And so that's where, yeah, there was DBDR here. I was having a problem with him before, but I managed to get to a point where I was actually beating him more often. Sinclair's, is it a small amount of count for Boulay? I don't know, I can't see his code. Do you know his code? And our code is clearly overkill for this game. And I'm going to go over a little bit of what we did and what we're missing right now. And so we fluctuate back up and down here quite a bit, and it's hard to say where, and I'm looking for the one thing. It's like, it's the same thing for the 3 days. How do we get that little extra bit, that little tiny bit? What are we doing wrong? And there's a And so Euler said he's struggling against some players more than me. And the thing is, this morning, the first thing I did is I made it so I beat him all the time. But then every little tweak I make makes it harder against Star-Lord. So we're at a point now, if I could figure out how to just clean up a little bit more against Star-Lord, I might be okay. Like, our strategy isn't, like, it's not definitely stronger. It suffers against some people. And, like I say, if I could beat more Star-Lord more often. But I don't know where I see the stats for Star-Lord. Apparently we're fighting him in the leaderboard, but I never see it come up. Not here in the wins, lose, losses here. So you see Boulay, we've lost in one. So Boulay we're still even on, and who we not against Av 99 or its peers, anybody we're consistently losing against. It's the consistent losses, and we don't have a lot of consistent losses. It's always different guys, and that makes it very hard to adapt the strategy. Like, we never even fight Star-Lord anymore. Or they're not showing the Star-Lord battles, but we don't even fight Star-Lord anymore. So there's also a defect in the game right now, and it's really been struggling. It's kind of annoying. Is that if you leave this tab, if you go to another tab where one of these leaderboards is open, this game will crash very fast. So this tab crashes, and I have to exit Firefox completely. So if I lose chat multiple times, you'll understand why I have to close everything. And usually I can close a tab, but it's very important before I go to another tab to always get out of these displays and then go to the other tab. And so now we can go to this one here and refresh. See our stats, because this gives us stats of who we fought multiple times. And there's very few of them. And so again, Boulay here is exactly what we said, which we're 2-2. Marchette is the problem here, so he's a big problem for us. And I think he has a melee strategy. So it's a melee strategy for Marchette, and who else do we... And it's the only clear one where, like, Boulay, 50-50 is okay. We should be able to get by with that. But it's the ones where we have all losses, which kill us. And the ones up here are also all losses, but we've only fought them one time. And I know Agad is a problem. I know Tsukama is a problem. And obviously the guys below us, we have a better win rate against them. But again, even if we could tweak them a little bit to get 100% on all of these, it would also help. But it's not as clear what we have to do. So we're at 9, so let's pick it out. Let's pick out Marchette and see why. He's number 6. Typewriter dude, and let's see what happens when we play against him. I'm pretty sure it's a melee strategy, and I had worked on these a lot, but I have a really hard time competing against Hulk and whoever. Unless he's a double Hulk. But see, we won in this one. And he's got the double Hulk strategy. Yeah, Regnaka's, I realized that I probably shouldn't have resubmitted. Because, yeah, we had a higher score before, and our bot now is actually stronger than the one that had that higher score before, I'm pretty sure. But and this is one of the things that I actually find a little bit disappointing about the way the League engine works, is that you do get punished for submitting. You get punished for submitting basically because you drop in the ranks, and the longer you sit in the ranks, you compete with the top. Because every time you submit, basically, you have to go through the whole bunch of people at the bottom, and this messes with your rank, and there's very random strategies. And I mean, if you had a really good strategy, it's not a problem. Like, a lot of the legendary guys would probably have no problem just running through gold again. But there are some strategies that are very hard to get through, and you have a huge mix, and it's just hard to deal with. And so this is the one, yeah, I mean, had I just done nothing, I probably could have been there. And this is the strong temptation now. Should I just wait now as well? The problem is this waiting takes extremely long. because the moment I reach 100%, people don't fight me nearly as much. But this is looking good enough to just sort of say, hey, well, screw it, and let's just wait. But we can pick the guy, like, if we have to submit again, let's pick Marchette here, and let's see if we can actually fight this guy. And you notice we did fight him. Even though the stats say 4 for 0, the first test I do here shows us winning. So it's not like we're hopeless against these people. So we'll do another random matchup. And we win it again, which is really frustrating. And so the double Hulk thing. This is a bug that became very popular this morning, maybe last night, is that there's actually a way to get Hulk twice. What you do is when you start the game, you say your first player is Hulk, and so you get Hulk. And then instead of saying what second superhero you want, you just emit wait. And then the game auto-assigns Hulk, and that is done after the check for a double hero appears, and so you can have 2 Hulks. And so this came in and dominated really quickly. And you see, we have a real problem when Hulk chases us, but we do run from bush to bush, and it looks like my distance thing is just not far enough. I don't run to far enough bushes away, but I do run around, hopefully, and this is accidentally the type of strategy that other people recommend, is when you have these guys immediately nearby, just run around, and I'm running from bush to bush, and this within the range of the tower. And so my safety check for bushes says, if you're too close to another hero, it's not a safe bush, and that causes me to run around. And I suspect if I change my code just a little bit there, because when I'm running around in this dangerous mode, I don't think I actually attack them, even though I could get some free attacks in, and that would just kill them a little bit quicker. Alright, so let's play Marchette again. So this is one we actually lose. So this is one we can look at. And again, it's going to be very tight, very difficult. And you'll notice my guys, and this was something I added here, is that he's sitting here waiting. And my guys don't go any further than this. What I did is, because these guys are trying to ambush me, and several people have this strategy, is that if I can't see the other opponents, I just don't go too far right. That just makes sense. I just avoid it. I avoid the ambush. At some point, though, he comes out anyways, and I'm not sure how this works. And there's actually a bug on Hulk as well. Apparently, if you have 2 Hulks, there's a way that they can keep attacking and stun you, even if they've already done it once. I'm not sure if he's using it here. It's accidental. Buy larger potion, prepare Groot, prepare Groot. So he's buying a lot of potions. So he keeps healing himself. This makes it really hard to kill him. That's a tough one to fight. I mean, that's just hard. And he just won that game. And it's unfortunate we have double Hulks now. I'm just glad, as long as he's not using the stun strategy on purpose, I'd be fine. But like, this is where it sits right now, as exactly what edA-qa says. I mean, we're so close. Resubmitting would almost be foolish. We have to watch the time limit of this stuff too. That if this is going to take like 3 hours to sneak into Legendary, then we don't want to submit again. But if we're not getting high enough, and like all these people here, they keep coming in. And they're all so close, and I don't know, it's, submitting again is a massive risk. We have options to do it a few times, like we ran up the ranks pretty fast here too. But overall, my strategy is strong enough, I think, that if we just had enough random matchups, we might get up there. And the problem is, every time I submit, I end up getting a lot more random stuff, and I lose my stable position. So I'm just not sure what to do at this point. I don't have a clear strategy improvement for anything. They say we can check again, make sure we go away here. Check these stats again, see who we're losing against. See, now edA-qa comes back as the guy, as our enemy. And I actually had a strategy that Euler, I don't know what you mean about targeting both heroes at once with the fireball. You mean if they're close together? My fireball strategy so far is basically when I'm full, I just target one of them, and I have a few preferences. I prefer Hulk, then I prefer Doctor Strange. No, I've not actually optimized that yet. Maybe I should do that. That's the next thing. If they're close enough, shoot right between them. I wonder if that would make enough of a difference. It might, because we have a lot of situations like this where they're close enough. So let's make that as the next thing we do. And risk submitting again. Well, I can't see how that would hurt the strategy, because we're still going to hurt the guy we intended. It's just basically optimized that says, look, if the other guy is there, we might as well do it. So strat Wimpy is actually strat Iron Man. We used to filter it more. So attack hero range. We have these filters here. Opportunity kill. And Sinclair, let me get back to that question about the meeknesses of Rust. Here's one of them right here if you want to see. This inability to do any floating point math without typing F64 behind everything. It really obscures the numbers, and this actually bugs me. So you can't clearly see this is 280. You see 280 F64, and that's one of the things that bugs me quite a bit. If I see any more, I can point them out, but my biggest thing is the way it does borrow handling. There's a lot of stuff we didn't do in here because it was just too complicated to do with the borrow handler. And the next game we do, I'm just going to use a ref cell or RC, whatever it is, everywhere and force everything to be a shared pointer, because the borrowing system makes it too hard to set up game strategies like this. It makes it too hard to manipulate the state. It's very easy to work in immutable mode, but in mutable mode, it's just too hard to work with the borrow system and actually accomplish like applying a turn. Okay, so we have this shoot hero, skill targets, and so this is the opportunity kill. I don't think, well, that would also be good to adjust, but right here we have the skill target, E-hero opt. And this thing has a radius. Let me check what the radius is on this thing. Fireball has a 50 radius. That's a really small radius, so we don't have that much of a point. 50. Fireball is 50. Fireball radius equals 50. How big are the heroes? I've never actually checked this. How big are heroes? They must have a radius on them as well. Unit type team. Do the units have a radius? What is the radius of the units? That's what I want to know right now. Let's just check. Let's just search for radius. Radius. So heroes don't have a radius. I got the fireball. So like heroes are like points on the screen? They don't actually have a size? I never realized that. Oh wow. That's weird. Everything else has a radius, but the heroes are points. The heroes are infinitesimal points on the screen. Good to know. That would actually, I have a place to adjust the strategy of this. So we have this right here, and what we're going to do is, this is going to just be a minor one. We're going to check the Attuna 2 heroes, and I'm not going to attempt to optimize this code at this point. I'm just going to like bang in some ugliness. And we know this is going to be 2 apart, so alright, let's just do it this way. For hero in state.them.iterHeroes, let move destination equal eHero.position. Okay. If eHero.eid, we're going to look for the other hero.id does not equal hero ID, or equals. Then continue. If hero.position.distance to eHero.position is less than 50, no, less than 100. For rounding clarity, I'm going to put 98 because these things are all pixel based. Like they're all round to 1, they're not pixel based. So the distance to the other hero is less than 98, means we can shoot right in the middle of them. Distance equals distance plus hero.position divided by 2. So we take the average, we'll go right in the middle. And let's just print it out. Center shot. See if this ever comes up. Center shot. A note for future games, and this is really important. It's really hard for us that you're able to emit stuff on the screen saying what you're doing. This would have been really helpful for debugging, but my turn system didn't let me do that. So now I'm lacking debugging information on the screen, so I'm going to have to search for this. Alright, so that gives me a center shot. And I'm going to change this here to destination. This is a free change, I think. Well, this could actually hurt us. And there's one reason this could hurt us, is because if that enemy hero moves, I've now made my fireball further away. So I could actually technically reduce the chance I hit them or increase the chance I hit both of them. It's hard to say. And again, here's the stuff about F64. See, greater than less than 98 is really clear. Less than 98 is 64. I find this is really bad. When you're trying to deal with numbers, you don't want to stick numbers that have nothing to do with the numbers beside them. Even putting an F would have been fine. A float would have been better. Anything like that. But sticking a number beside a number, I think, is really bad. It does actually hurt the clarity of the code. Alright, so okay, look at, we're at rank 4 now. I'm just going to touch it. We're going to play against this guy, but do not let me submit anything. If you see my cursor hover over the submit button, you know, I'm scared to even play against this guy right now, to be honest. If I accidentally submit, it looks okay. Like, look at this. This is the closest I've ever been to this guy. We have no way to predict when we go up and down because the battles against me are very, very limited. I saw some chatter about Royale before. People are having... He's apparently a non-deterministic strategy. That's what I get from the chat comments. We tend to win against him more often than not, somehow. And look at this Marchetta. Just... So if we do have to resubmit, then we compete against him. Except here's again the danger. And so Kiwi Blue, as I said before, had problems. Now we don't. Cosmo is also a melee strategy. Hey, Moderated Seal. How's it going? So I said Kiwi Blue was the one I actually tweaked our strategy against, and this actually fixed against a lot of the melee strategies, because this was the one that was like, he was the hiding stuff, so I did a lot of stuff to compete against him, and This is surprising. Somebody this high in the rank, this close behind me, just has no chance against me. This is really weird. But it's the same thing with mort-ora-y. I have no chance against him. So I really appears very curious there. Cosmo's half and half. Royale, I think, is taken off now, and he's not in our league anymore. So look at my rank. I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to bother submitting anything, nor. I think we're going to take our chances at this in the moment. Because this would be silly, because if I submit, it's going to take another hour to get up here. Even if I submit the same strategy, it'll take an hour to get up here. And this puts me in second place, and this is perfect, so... we need 0.1 points in the next 3 minutes. Yeah, mort-ora-y, this helps a lot, so there's no point. So there's no point in even submitting if mort-ora-y's gone. This is actually enough. Just getting rid of him might be the boost I need to get above Star-Lord. Because he was the guy that was causing me problems, but he was also the guy causing problems for all of these guys, so they might come up as well. And I say, yesterday I was one of the people causing people trouble with Star-Lord, because I could beat most of the other bots yesterday, but not Star-Lord. So I was helping drive his rank really high. And this morning I actually changed it, so I do actually beat Star-Lord most of the time, I thought, usually. And that's where you see Star-Lord going down, down. Look at, I did 0.05 away. It's all we need. And so yeah, this morning I was helping because that was when I did the Groot strategy. And what I really wish, and this is one of the things that I had, all right, we might actually make it. This is really wonderful. Really wonderful. Excellent. Nobody attack me. Nobody just touch nothing. I don't want to touch anything. I don't want to touch it. I'm not even going to touch the keyboard. I'm gonna back up a bit. Firefox might crash though because it's in that screen, but I'm going to back up a bit and see what happens. 2 minutes. If the screen stops working, it's Firefox crashed. I'm way back here. I can't go back anymore. I've got a thing behind me, but I can't reach the keyboard. So, you know, we'll just take fate at this point. And my other clock, so 1 minute left. Come on. But I think that little indicator up there means we did it, no? Or do I have to officially wait until this changes? I can't read the chat, no. I'm not going to touch it. Euler, I'm not touching anything. I'm afraid of touching the wrong button. Yeah, I see the notification, and... oh. So we've done it. We've done it. Yay! So what was in the chat? All right. All right, I'm happy. I'm super happy about this. So all those tweaks I did this morning somehow piled up and got us there, and it was really close. Or we can thank mort-ora-y and the other guys that made it to Legendary for getting out of our way. We probably could have done this on Friday, as somebody else mentioned, had I just on Friday just let the damn thing sit for a bit longer. But I was like pressing resubmit and trying stuff, and this is wonderful. I couldn't have asked for a better final day. I don't care where I get in Legendary. I see Euler and those guys talking, and I don't think we're going to get very far in Legendary. Sinclair, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. Cheers, guys. And this has been great. There we go. I mean, and we've reached a new level as well, whatever that is. I forgot about these levels because you get them mainly from the practice one when you keep coding. And Thanks, Renakas. I'm very happy about this. So we rebuilt this. So now we can press, and look what we're getting. Let's see what we're getting in legend mode. Let's see how much my tweaks actually help us here. We're already up to 44. Woohoo! So let's see where we go here. I mean, all right, let's go over some of the strategies I did. We're going to let this sit here. And look how well we're actually doing in Legendary. This is shocking. The drastic changes I've done is the Groot strategy. The mean evil Groot strategy. That, it's hard to see. Okay, I can clear this here. Promoted. Let's go to another page. I'll tweet this if it's there. Alright, good to know we're in the top 3 in Rust. We probably know the other guys. We probably, so we have a notification here. No, no, not that. Don't go there. Okay, so we're... The Groot strategy is, when you see a Groot near the enemy, I shoot a fireball at it, and it makes the Groot go towards them. It's really kind of cheap. The boss on gold couldn't deal with that. And we couldn't deal with it either before, and that came very popular. Other than that, what strategies did I do? I looked through the code. The center shot, which I had now, is not a big one. I added this opportunity kill because I noticed a lot of games I had an opponent that was really close to 0 health. And so the opportunity kill says, regardless of where my fireball state is, if I have enough mana or not, if the fireball could kill the enemy, I shoot at him. Okay. Ragnakas, yes, it doesn't matter. Because the problem is you suddenly have another Groot to fight, and it sucks. And every time they kill the Groot gets stronger. And so killing Groots just kind of sucks. And even if they're tracking them, and you have to, if you don't track them, it's a really quick win. And you see that really fast. If the other person just ignored it, like the gold boss, you can win really fast with the Groot. But the Groots aren't always close enough. Sometimes the Groots are all at the top of the screen. Like in this one here, I never had the opportunity to do a Groot attack against him. Okay, so we can submit this new stuff now. We're in no danger here now. Hey, Agantis. Nice to see you. I saw you followed me on Twitch. Thank you. We have a new message. Somebody's here. General. Let's just make a big smile here. Yay! Got it on the stream live. Reknakas, I do not farm Groots. I just leave them alone. It was another one on my list of things to potentially do. Farming Groots is the one thing you might want to farm Groots for is the initial Groot, wipe my extension, just go kill him and get some points. I don't know how much of a difference it makes. But let's submit the center shot. I highly doubt it'll make a difference. And I shouldn't have submit. I should always do play first because let's mention this to Jasper, that as my file gets really, really big, this might have submitted before it's finished writing. And there's some for that I have to do a force upload. And, okay, I mean... Thanks, Leonard. Thank you. Huh? Aha, that's what you meant, Oilers Assault. Yeah, okay. I was just doing the center point. So there's actually a much more generous way to do this. But that's like math. Oh man, that's like nearest point on the line type calculations. I was doing that all week at work, to be honest. Now I have to come up with again, what's the nearest point on the line? Anybody have a simple formula for nearest point in the line projection where it might hit more heroes? Euler, you have like an actual simulation in there, don't you? You can actually just check to see who's it's going to hit and then you modify it? Or do you actually do the calculation? We do. I'm just so happy about making Legends here. I don't know how much I want to improve this. Let's just go for another hour or so. Let's see what comes up with it. Ragnagas, yeah, that's for fireballs. You can hit multiple heroes that way. You can optimize sort of the damage if you tweak it a bit. And there's the line intersects with circle type calculation. And I wonder how much it actually helps. Keep getting notices. Okay, well, there's a but do you actually check if you're actually going to hit them? Or do you just assume you're going to hit them? Reknakas, based on the changes I made, it's highly unlikely that it's highly unlikely my change is making me do worse. It might just be something else. But we can check that. Here we are, we're on the screen. Second place in Rust. Jude Katz is wonderful. Yeah, but do you have the actual check for distance like a line calculation? I just don't want to, I can't think to do line. Like I said, I was doing lines. I was actually literally doing line distance point calculations all week. And my brain is broken with them now. I don't want to do more trig, but the angle I can definitely check. And there must be a quick way to do that one. Oh yeah, there's a quick calculation. If I know where they are, never mind. Let me draw this down a bit. If I know where the enemies are, I should be able to figure it out. That's not so bad. So that was the last bit of advice we get from Euler, it seems. He wasn't happier either about me killing his goal hero with Groots either, but that seemed like the easy way to do it. Okay, so we're going to go back down and do the actual math down here. It's not if they're centered apart. We can actually do the... It's really messy to set this up when you don't have the second guy, but we have the second guy. We can assume that it's not here. No, sorry, I'm in the wrong place. Right here. No, not here. Center shot. The center shot one right here. What we can do is we can adjust it. We can check the target angle. So we know our current angle destination is fine. And Euler, can you confirm one thing? Does it matter what destination I send the fireball? If I just get the angle, it follows my angle correctly? So like if I did the normal of this and then I just send it off in that direction as our hero dot position. Okay, so I simply can do this. I can do our hero position plus the destination where the destination is a normal vector, and then that should make okay. Then I don't have to care about that. Norm is our normalized vector. This is a unit vector, so that'll be the angle. But this has to be a minus here. Minus our hero dot position. Okay, and that's the angle. And so what we're going to check is if the center shot angle, it's very easy to calculate what the angle should be to him. So if you have another hero like this, we'll get rid of the destination here. We got to figure out how we want to do it. Let's h norm equal, this will be hero.position minus our hero.position.norm. So that's the norm to the other hero, and the average norm then is literally destination plus h norm divided by 2. This may not be a unit vector anymore, but we just don't care. It doesn't matter. Now, the calculation we have to do is this better? And this is a bit of trigonometry. And it's like closest line on point. Well, I've done this so often. So to use Euler's graphics to understand this is that I've calculated this line in the middle now. What we have to do now is figure out this line, and this is a projection. We have a projection on this, so I can look at the I'll add, okay, let's do a projection. I'll add the projection formula, and I always forget this one, and this is going to be added to the point class. And so the projection is going to be this line onto this line, and it'll give us this vector here. And then we calculate this between this point and this point. So vector projection. Actually, we could do a vector rejection, but that's just the same thing, and calculate the length of that line. So you'll see this exact chart, what I explained here, is so we have A1 here. Well, we have B. We have B, and we have A. So we have B and A is a... Yeah, that's what we need. So, how do we calculate this again? This is going to be fun in Rust. There's lots of different ways to calculate it, and... Yeah, but I don't think we need that. I mean, we could take that. If that's quicker. I was going to do vector rejection, or projection, because I was used to that one. I'm going to do the vector projection approach. I don't feel like typing all that in. It might be about the same. Because what we have is vector projection is A dot B divided by the absolute of B. But I already have a normalized B. Well, not quite. And you just multiply A by that, and that gives you that projection. And then you have this line, and you have this point in particular. Or you can just do the A minus A1, and that gets you the rejection. You can get the length of the rejection. And this distance formula is probably based on that rejection. So let's just do this. We're gonna reuse this point stuff a lot in future gaming anyways, so I'm just gonna do the rejection code anyway on that. We're gonna head over to the point class, and this should probably have a unit test, but point, and assuming this is a vector thing, we're gonna do function project onto and self O.2. And this will give us another vector. And just for safety, we're going to say NO equals O.norm in case it's not actually normalized. And it's really weird when they have this is that there doesn't appear to be a notation for a normalized vector in math. They always have like vector divided by the length of the vector. And so it's really weird. And now we have to do a dot product as well. So this is not done yet. Function dot and self O point. This is not dot though, is it dot? No, not dot. It's not dot because dot is the added one. What is? Yeah, dot product. Wait, but dot product returns a scalar, doesn't it? Yeah, I know dot pro. What? How can this return a vector? Ah, right, because it's a length. Sorry, it's a length. So if we times it by the original b, I'm getting confused again. In any case, this is actually a f64. And this becomes self dot x times o dot x plus self dot y plus times o dot y. Okay, and to project onto, according to this, I want vector projection. That's what I want. I don't want scalar projection. What am I trying to do here? Is that what's wrong? That's a vector. I want the vector rejection. All right, A1 times B hat. What is B hat? Projectile, whatever. We're going to do like A1 according to Wikipedia. Now I'm just going to say Q equals self dot and O. This becomes Q times NO. That's the vector projection. And then we can do a reject onto, and self O point 2 gives us a point 2. And this is this one here, A2, and this is simply a subtraction at this point. This is simply self minus self dot project onto O. And this is ridiculously overkill. I mean, the formula Euler has is probably going to be more efficient when I'm compiling in debug mode. In release mode, this will actually all inline into probably an optimal form that might actually be smaller than Euler's calculation, but again, his is going to optimize as well. But for this competition, we could care less. And project onto. So we have one condition here. Where did I change that? And so we can actually do it this way, be very clear. Pub function, make a simpler function, is distance to line and self, and we're going to do an O as a do a base, the base point. Point, and this will be a point 2, and the norm will be a point 2. And this becomes an F64. And we can probably do some basic testing of this. We have a test suite here somewhere. So this really just becomes self dot, yeah, we want self minus, this becomes point to self minus the point where we are. So this is A. This is A, reject onto norm. I think I screwed up one of the things, but we'll see. Dot length. Distance to the line. If we want to say the hero position. So if we say eHero.position dot distance to line, distance to line. So wherever you define it, it's going to be correct here. Distance to line, and the line is defined as our hero.position, and the vector is average norm is less than 49, just to be certain. Calculation errors. And eHero.position, no, this is the current hero, hero.position, not distance to line. Distance to line, our hero.position, comma, average norm, calculate that twice, is less than 49 F64. Then, stupid editor, then we'll update the destination to be average norm. I'm going to call this direction instead so it's clear. Direction. Direction. Direction and direction. Just assume everything works. We won't do any testing here. Cannot be applied to point. Mine's can be applied. Did you... Alright, what is this here? So I'm going to turn the light on, it's getting dark in here. Must be clouds killing us. Distance to line, what do I have? Self minus self to project onto. Self cannot be applied, it's point to self. Divided by 2, where is that? Strat Wimpy divided by 2. Again, 2 F64. 2 was nice. 2 F64 is not nice to look at. Hey, let's try this without testing it, and then we can put the test in afterwards. How are we doing? We're at rank 61, so we're not the worst in Legendary. So this indicates that the boss somehow got, not the boss, but it got harder to get through gold than it did when some of these people got here. Or they're just resubmitted, or they're doing random stuff, and we're going up. My strategy will fail pretty hard if the fireball failed. Or actually it won't. Not against the AI. The default AI is pretty pathetic, I think, isn't he? I just want to see where the fireball goes. Well, he shot the fireball over here, which is probably not the right place to shoot it. And actually, I'm going to put direction times 100 here in case it was not correct. But let's actually do some test cases. We haven't done this much in the show before, and I've actually done test cases before. We have a test directory, and we have it for points. And we can actually do distance to line just to make sure this is working. Start at the high level, distance to line. And I'm going to draw some stuff on graph paper down here where you can't see. And hide secrets. And I'll just take the basis first. So if we have a... that should be fine. We have a point. We're going to do let d equal 0.2 xy. And again, you see this is all up here. This actually really sucks in Rust. It's this F64, it's everywhere, and it really mucks up the numbers. Because now I'm going to say a 0.4 F64, comma 3 F64 dot distance 2, and we're going to have a line starting at 0.2 xy 0 F64, comma 0 F64. And I do the base of these baseline sanity checks are really good because you just draw them quickly, and you can tell because if these ones fail, you know you've got something significantly wrong. If these ones work, well then, you know, oh well. And point x, y, and this is in this direction. It's directly along the axis here. Assert close. As with all things floating points, you always have to do closeness. And we're going to say this is supposed to be 3F64D. Let's see if that actually runs cargo test. Oh no, I've got other errors now. Strat Wimpy is giving me errors. Oh yeah, F64 again. Every single time I forget that, and I'm always going to forget it in the future. And point distance to line. Alright, so that distance to line worked, oddly enough. So let's check the vertical, make sure that works as well. And this is going to, let's make it, I'm going to offset it a little bit. Do another graph on paper here that you can't see just to trick you. And I want to do distance to line and a vertical one. Okay, distance to line. I'm going to do a sum. I'm going to say, let's do 4 and 5. The line starting at, we can say 2, minus 2, throw some numbers in here, negatives. And the direction of this line will be 0, 1. And this distance should be 2. Okay, and that works. I could check one more, because the dot product can be fickle, and I'll check one more just to be certain. But it looks like I'm probably correct. And I think I have one more that I can quickly do on the paper here. So I'm going to do one more distance to line and then go for it. And I'm going to do them from 0 again because the base is not going to make a big... Actually, I can put them all different somewhere else. That's fine. Let's say this is 5, 3. So I have 8, 5. So position 8, 5, whatever reason. And the lines are going to start at 5, 3. And it has a 1, 1 normalization vector, and it normalizes that, so we should be okay. And this should have an exact offset of 0.5. Okay, what did I get? Does it not show what my value is? Seriously, cargo test, do you not show what my output is? Well, whatever. Does it not even show the output? How do I see the output? 0.7. That's a square root of 2. No, that's 0.7, not square root of 2. That sounds like a very common number that comes up in trig. So if this is 5, 3, 8, 5, and the point is at 5, 3, and the direction is 1, 1. Yeah, root 2 over 2. Okay, that's the number. Yeah. Thanks, Micah. I knew the number is common, and it comes up here often, and I don't think I screwed up my calculation, though. No, shit, that is the right number. Sorry. It's the right number. I have a little square in here, and I don't know how much you can see it. It's super tiny. Woo! Probably can't see it. And it's half the distance of the diagonal across the square, which is that number, which is correct then, right? And where's that test now? I think that's correct. Yeah, so it's 1, Is that correct? What am I thinking? I'm totally wrong now. I'm totally confused in this. It's supposed to be square root of 2 that I want. Square root of 2 over 2. That's correct, yeah. And let's just stick that in there. 2f64 dot square root divided by 2. Okay, good. We got that. That is the correct number. So I'm going to assume this is 3 evidences. We have the 2 axes and a diagonal line, and these all work. There's still a chance that distance to line is wrong, but we've covered some basics. We worked from a formula, and I don't see anything wrong with it, so we should be okay. And it's based on rejection and projection. There's simple formulas. And this project onto, yeah, that's a point, and this should actually be like a... This is actually on the origin. I have to make sure this is from origin. Directional from origin. And they're not good names then. And we'll have to change the names later as we reuse it because Rust doesn't let you overload stuff. So are we doing it correctly here? If we find the other hero, the direction is E hero minus R hero, the normalization of that. That's the direction the fireball is supposed to go to hit the hero. And we find the other hero, and we take the other hero minus our position normalization, that's the direction it goes to the other hero. We add these two together, we take the middle of it, this is the vector directly in the middle, and then we check, is the distance to the line of the other hero and our hero less than 49, and if it is, then we use this direction. So, why did we not shoot the right way? Let odor equal dir. E print line. Let's figure this one out. Dir, comma odor. We were still doing okay here, I mean, in the leaderboards. That was the one we submitted before. And it's still going, well, we're not going up. We're not submitting anymore, but that means anybody fights us going up. And this is curious. You look at, there's not too many red circles on here, so the most people who've got here, except at the bottom, the most people at the top are just like, you know what, I've had enough. I'm done. I don't need to prove more. And that's basically where we are. I'm going to do this fireball one and then just move on. And who is in the top here? Who do we actually remember from here that we fought against before? edA-qa was at the top of the gold for the longest time, and he's still fighting to get up higher. And it looks like he's going to get up top. He's going up there. Kao we fought against before. To be number one, yeah, we're not going to get to number one. I'm not that good to get to number one, so we'll try to get a bit more. And edA-qa, he's the actual jabbing. He's from Coding Games, so he's marked at there. And we see him on Twitter sometimes. Judio Cat's pretty good. That's the other guy in Rust. I say Euler is going up, but I guess Euler's decided he's done. Or unless he's just not submitted in a while, he's working on a brand new rewrite. Who else do we have that we recognize? Boris I just recognized from Gold, and he's still fighting here. Counterbell is recognized from Gold. Royale, I just remember the name. Illidan, we've seen it before. Trauergrenade caused the longest trouble in Gold, and I actually changed my strategy just to beat him. And Marchetta, which you saw, was totally failed. Couldn't beat him anyways. And which is nice to see him not high above us here. Alright, so let's play this again, and let's figure out where I shoot the fireball, if my fireball makes sense or not. It's easy to undo this bit. Well, we shot one fireball. Let's see the next one. Well, that was the next one. That looked actually to go right through them. That one went right through the middle as well. Well, let's check our fireballs then, just to see if the numbers make sense. Come on, we're red and we shoot a fireball somewhere here. Fireball. 0.9, 0.64. Ever so slight change. That looked fine. Hard to tell. Visualization is an issue. So it's not like a major change. And they look both correct. So let's submit this and see what happens. Euler confirms. He's done. We're almost there too, Euler. We're just... I'll do this change, see what happens. If I get higher, I'll leave it. Otherwise, I think it's a safe change. It's a zero-cost change. Our first batch here looks pretty bad. Are we actually submitting the new code? I hope so. And here we got it. This thing crashed on me. Or did it not? Yeah, it crashed. So we're going to close this. And it might not come back. We might have to close all of Firefox. I might wrap it up and then go back to Leaf, get some graphics done. This competition takes a lot of time out of that. Okay, so we're still there, and where are we here? Now this is the same thing about waiting might have made more sense because we're already at 50 and there's no way this change in Fireball strategy actually put us down here unless we're timing out. Did we check that? Did I screw it up and somehow we're timing out? That would definitely cause that. No, we're not timing out. I've got some extra weird debug stuff left in there. So let's figure out what's happening here. Is my thing totally broken, or are we legitimately losing? Oh, there are some wins there. Let's check this one out. That's a loss. Okay, so I don't think we're doing anything totally broken. We're just having a hard time here. I don't know how we got to 50 last time. It makes a difference if we just keep getting enough random matchups to get us there. Oh, that's right, though. The first 10 matchups are against spread through the chart, and the next ones are closer by. We might be better with the close by ones, and spread through the chart, we just really be bad. That fireball looked to go right through the middle of them, which was good. I just want to inspect that closer. That would be the confirmation that our fireball is actually going the right place now. And oh, I made a mistake. I made a horrible mistake. The fireball's radius is 50. No, the fireball radius is 50. This is fine. So yeah, 50 on each side. And where was that right here? Where did I shoot my fireball? Do I have to watch for the fireball? Right here I shoot the fireball and it goes right to the middle. And this guy's at 786, 465. We're roughly the same points. The Y is... See, they're more than 50 apart. My fireball shouldn't have reached both of them. Yeah, they moved away, but... Oh, right, it's the turn before that I have to check, because that's when I calculated it based on here. Yeah, okay. So that is actually one of the dangers of shooting to the middle, because if I had shot to just one of him, actually it would make no difference based on this case. Because one of them was right in the middle, he would have walked away as well. They can just both move away from the fireball. So there really wasn't much I could do about that. I mean, I beat him anyways. I recognize this name. I had troubles with him against him on gold. What's with my rank, though? Do I get no ranking points here? Is he just not playing many games, or? Well, Sinclair, Fireball is a very interesting strategy, is that you get the most points when you're furthest away, because the Fireball does damage based on the distance it goes. So the further it goes, the more distance it goes. And so that's why my trigger thing is basically, as soon as something's within range, somewhere up here, as soon as a hero's in range, then I shoot it. And Raknagi, I know it's a bit slow, just see it as, and so yeah, that's the Fireball, and it's going to miss sometimes, but when it's in the middle of the screen, it'll at least hit the little units and stuff, and it's worthwhile nonetheless. But I guess that splitting is, and I do the splitting in some cases as well, just to avoid that double hit, but that should be fine. I think that confirms that we'll probably have the right code there. And we should actually do this. Commit. Legend! Legend! Okay, whatever. And so we're slowly going up. We're at 50, but we're not going to try and optimize this too much. We'll just see where it goes. And we are going up. That's all I care about. And the Fireball, it should be a safe change to make, because if they were going to avoid it, they're most likely going to avoid it anyways, whether I change the strategy or not. So it's kind of hit or miss either way. We have lots of tweaking points, but from what I've seen in the discussions, all the guys at the top of this chart have been working really hard on this stuff. And we were at 50 here, and so I'm fine with that. We'll probably get back to 50 again, except if these guys keep working on it and pushing me back down, then we won't get there. And it's there's a lot of randomness involved here, though. And you can no, damn it, I left the window with the stats thing open. Don't do that. So what's being a pig and using up all my RAM? Holy Christ. Firefox, Mozilla, fix your damn browser. 17.6 gigabytes of RAM for web content. And another one. And it's using 100% CPU. Which one is that even? Go away. It's a background one. They're not even cleaning up the thread. So this is a definite defect in Firefox here. This is an awful defect in Firefox. It's not cleaning up its background thread. This is the whole purpose of their new model, was to click the stuff in the background. And so let's just close all of those things. Unless it's the chat over here, which is unlikely. So if I close this, close this. It's still there, consuming 100% CPU, which explains why my fan is on. And it disappeared, finally. Alright, so Firefox, Mozilla. If anybody from Mozilla is watching, can you please fix that? I mean, seriously, you can just give me a warning. If any of my tabs consumes more than a gig of memory, just kill it. That's just ridiculous. And so we're at position 80 overall, and I'm totally happy with it. I mean, I'd like to get back to that 50 we're at, and I could revert the strategy, but I have a hard time believing that the Fireball difference makes that difference. It'd be easy enough to check, though. But we are slowly going up. What are we at now? Yeah. It's probably a leak in the game as well. I mean, Shield. No, I'm not. I was thinking about casting Shield, but I simply do not cast Shield right now. We'll let this run its course and see what happens. Then I can go back to the old Fireball if this doesn't help. In case that works a bit better. It seemed like it did work better without this change in Fireball, which is really odd. And this is one of the things, like the post-mortem and writing these things, is that when you get tips from other people, like I really appreciate them. They're awesome and they really help. But you have to be very careful about it, that just because something worked in their strategy doesn't necessarily mean it'll work in my own strategy. Because these things are tuned based on everything else, that if you just pack all these things together, you never quite know if maybe it's because your hero's in the right position that the Fireball works there, or for the certain spell, or maybe the buying of mana items is because of the rest of your strategy, and so all these things tie together. And this is also what's made it really slow for making adjustments here, is that I can't quickly rewrite a whole new strategy. And this is partly because of code, because everything's tied together. And we saw that when I first added my my Doctor Strange strategy, they ended up being exactly the same. Like if you look at my strategies for them, I have Strat Wimpy and I have Strat Strange. And this was already the idea that I was going to have different strategy types for each of them. But we never went that. So Strategy Strange had all of this. We have Hulk near tower is a special case to defeat certain opponents. And then we have Run from Danger, Pull, Run Away, Pull a special, Run Away, Groot, Heal, Find Deny, Find Last Hit, and this stuff. And I'm surprised I made it so far with this chunk at the bottom, because this chunk is garbage down here. And then if you look at Strat Wimpy, though, we have the same basic thing. If Run from Danger, if Run Away, if near Groot. And then this is a special one. This is the only one different for Strat Wimpy. This is Iron Man. If Find Deny, if Find Last Hit, buy item, and then the same weirdness at the bottom here. And the weirdness at the bottom is basically find nearest hero and try to attack them. And it's totally pointless because there's always a nearest hero. Right? This line here, it never gets by this line. It never looks for the weakest unit or any other unit. It just always looks for the hero first and always goes to the hero and attacks them. Except, and this is where the weird thing is, except if I can't get to the hero. If I can't reach the hero, then I go into this prefer attack. And the prefer attack then says, well, walk as far as I can in that direction unless it's unsafe. And then wherever you are, just hit the nearest thing to you or the weakest thing here. And I've never thought it changes a lot. If I put this to attacking the next unit, it changes quite a bit as well. It changes the score. And that's something we could also probably check pretty quickly. And this find weakest unit is really, this is pointless. And what this really should have been is that find nearest unit that I can hit. But that's not what it is. And I got another notice. Omar, okay, I'm going to have to go open another window to follow you. Thanks for the follow, Omar. We'll follow you up too. Another one of these guys that's really high up there. We got to get up to Les, and I'm hoping this competition gives us enough points to push us back into Master that we don't have to keep playing a Clash of Code. I don't know if we're going to go up with this strategy. We can just try another one. We are going up. I don't know if I really want to make any more changes. Whatever we do, we're not going to get high up this ladder. Realistically, because if you look at the ladder, realistically, these guys at the top, they're really fighting. Like 32 compared down to like... Somebody has a minus down here even. I never know you could do that. That's like weird. And Coins at 57. He's been up there a long time. We were beside Marchetta, so we should have been able to stay there. I'd really like to get back to that 50. So we'll let this one run through. If it doesn't run through, I can kind of undo it and go back to whatever we had before. It is slowly increasing, and maybe there was just some riff-raff strategy at the bottom, or maybe our win rate is just very minimal. But all we changed was Fireball. Like I say, it's hard to imagine it makes a big difference, but again, it can make a big difference. As I've seen, made little mistakes in other parts of my code, and you know, it's logically shouldn't make a big difference, but because most other people in this competition are also doing just if-elses, it's easy enough to get something tripped up where two combinations just happen to work better together. Yeah, and as long as we're going up, it's not going to take many points to do a massive jump in the ranks here. So we can just see where that goes. It's the ranks at the top become exponential here in the values. He's got like a massive lead, 32, 31, 30, 29, 28, 27, 26. This is like really low down. And 24 is edA-qa. So we're not even reaching him. That many points. Well, that'll throw us into Master, no problem. So yeah, that would be, let's see where we get. So even if it's just 2,000, even at 70th, I guess we're getting enough points to get up there. Because we're just dripped below Master before, but now I'm uncertain. Did my Fireball actually make this change? Moderated Steel, given that the name of my show is Evening Rust, I will continue to use Rust. And I'm just going to stick with it. It's the only way I'm going to potentially learn another language. I don't have another opportunity to do it. And so I'm just going to stick with Rust. We're going to learn more. Outside of the contest, though, we're going to take the other competitions, the normal compete ones, and take a bit more time and structure the code correctly and learn more and more of Rust. You saw that I did a test now, and I'll do more of that. I have tests and benchmarking. We'll keep doing that. In the pressure of a competition, we don't have as much time, but the offline ones, we can actually just take more time to. Reknakas, the way I look for bushes, I can describe it briefly. I'm going to zoom in here again to get the buttons. Okay. Actually, let me go full screen for a second. I can tell you how I find a bush. Go away. Okay. I have a couple strategies to find bushes, depending on what the opponent is. If there is a Hulk in the opponent's set, so if we have a Hulk, and this is getting annoying, let me get out of here. Let me play one so I can pause this. My basic strategy is just find the bush closest to the tower. That's the one I used for the longest time. Find the bush closest to the tower and go hide in it. So if I was on that side, I'd do that. If they have Hulk, though, if they have Hulk or some melee thing, you'll see I sometimes walk to other bushes, and I don't know what the certain state is. And what I do then is I find the one that's safe, but furthest away from the tower, so within tower range, but still safe. And there's usually not many, so sometimes, like this is probably the only one here, they'll sometimes go here. Then I do a second safety marker. If the bush is too close to one of the enemy heroes, I just exclude it entirely and say this is not a valid bush. So there's several options there. Find the one that's furthest away from the tower, that's still within range of the tower. Find the one that is not close to an enemy opponent. And I think that's it. Find safe bush. There's a couple ones. I alternated through them. I don't even know what I'm doing right now. Let me check that. I can look that up exactly. Bush. Where's my bush stuff? If run from danger, and you can see it. If the enemy has Hulk, so if there's the Hulk there, I find a safe bush. Otherwise, I find the nearest bush. And a safe bush is state, find safe bush. I iterate through all the bushes. If there's an enemy hero nearby within 200, I don't consider it safe. Otherwise, this is where it gets weird, within. And if you notice where the within it says, find a safe bush within the tower range. And the way I do that then is within the tower range, I say the minimum key that's basically the one furthest away from the tower that's still within the range. And the reason why I did this for Hulk is because it gives me a chance to shoot fireballs at them to appear, and he doesn't have a chance to come get me and pound on me, but I can still attack him with the fireball. Okay, moderated seal for attacking Groots. There's only one reason I ever attack Groots, and that's if the Groot is near to the other, if he's near enough to the enemy and not closer to me, then I hit a Groot to activate him, and I only activate Groots for the purpose of attacking the enemy. And that's the strategy, and I'll get back to Recognize here. That's, where's that strat? Strange. Strat Wimpy has that. Where's my Groot stuff? Groot. Activate Groot near enemy. So I really look for a Groot that has the maximum health, because that means he's not activated. The distance was within my skill range. Nearer to the enemy hero, this is just a check. I check me and the enemy and I say, is it true? If he's nearer to the enemy, good. And then I find the nearest enemy hero, then I find my hero, and then I make sure that the distance to the enemy is less than 280, because the Groots have a range of 300, and I'm giving a bit of buffer room. And the distance to me is greater than 450, because otherwise I have the potential that I don't want to activate a group that's going to come attack me then. So that's my Groot strategy. The tower range was, I don't remember, I don't know Recognize, I actually just look it up. It's part of the input, and I just grab it from the input then. So we're still going up at 20. We'll just let this one run. I don't know if I should leave it or not. How much memory is it using now? Not much. Just 200 megabytes, that's all. So we are climbing, so maybe we should just... But we're not climbing very fast as we did before, so that fireball definitely made a difference. It's weird. But there's a lot of randomness, too, in the enemy selection. Because it's a small leader, there's going to be lots of randomness in who we actually fight. Like, I would love to just keep fighting Eval here. And not Moon. So we are, there's a couple guys on top of us, Rhesus, that we can beat, and guys behind us that we can't beat so much. I might just leave it. I don't know. 69. I don't know. Are we climbing fast enough to just leave it? It doesn't matter. We can submit again. Really, I don't know if I want to submit again, because that's like, we really just changed the range. And unfortunately, I did the get commit too late. I copied some stuff that weren't actually in there. So it's the fireball stuff, and that's it. That's all we did. The only change is the fireball stuff. The absolute only change is fireball. So to change it back will be that. So let's confirm that. First we'd go to E-hero position. And because, yeah, I have a hard time imagining that this has actually made any difference in the range, and we're just kind of stuck on whatever. Let's look at the overall structure of the code. So I'm going to be looking at how I structured this code as a whole. And we can start at entry for that. So to start as a post-mortem, let's just look at where it is. There's still, yeah, no, I didn't mean resubmitting for the purpose of trying to get to work its way up. I meant to see if Fireball actually made a difference, like to see if Fireball is actually lowering our score or not. That's not my. I don't know. It's very hard to believe that it would be lowering our score, but that would be the only reason I resubmit, is to see if it's if that might be the reason. Are the 1,000 battles assigned fairly, or are they still random? I hope they're fair, right? But I don't have enough energy left to like actually improve the strategy much. Okay, but let's check the way the main code works. The overall structure of the code. Your rank plus. Okay, then. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens then. So, the overall code is I had these things called hero descriptors and strategies, and I gave the strategy the descriptor, and the idea was I'd reuse strategy, and that's why this one's called Wimpy, because we're going to use Wimpy for different types. They became so specialized, and I had no time to do other heroes, that I just said Wimpy basically became Iron Man. There's no, and it's actually hard-coded. If you put something other than Iron Man there, it'll just do wacky stuff. And Doctor Strange is this one. And so each turn, I read the current state of the system in, and the first 2 rounds have the special one where you output the things. And then for each round, what I do is I get the turn from the units, if the unit's alive, otherwise I wait. So I grab the turn, and this is a completely immutable function, get turn. And working in Rust, this function is really nice to write. It's really fast. You don't have to worry about mutability borrowing because everything's immutable. Really simple. It produces the turn object, and the turn says what you want to do. It doesn't tell the system. And then I printed out the system saying get command. And you'll see this if I open up turn. Turn has a format of all the commands, how I format them for the game. And that does that. And it's still basically immutable except for the thing. What becomes mutable in that case, is the apply turn. Apply turn takes the turn and then says whatever happened, modify it. And there's a few important things that it does, because you might be thinking, well, why would I apply the turn? And this is relatively important for a few things, is that the game doesn't track the items you have. So if you want to know what items you have to track it yourself. And I had an idea of what I'd do with that, but I never did it. So it turns out I didn't need to track the items, because I was going to do an item optimization, but really you have so little gold in the game, it doesn't come up often enough, I think. And so I just never did it. But there is one other thing that apply turn does, which is actually relevant. Apply turn, should be in there. State apply turn. Where's my apply turn function? Apply turn. Why is my search not finding it? What's wrong with the search in Visual Code now as well? Apply turn is right here, but it can't find it. Oh great, this editor is just pissing me off even more now. So apply turn, I don't implement all of them. I implemented buy and sell because I thought I'd use them. And the next one I did is move attack. Now I didn't do attack, and I didn't do attack nearest because I don't call these in my code. Every single one of my attacks I do a move attack, so I decide where I'm going to move to. I don't let the computer decide for me. And also because I learned later that if you call attack on an ID, it actually moves, which was part of the reason why my bot was getting screwed up earlier. So I changed them all into move attacks, and this prevents me from moving, lets me stay in place and attack. And the move attack then, that one seems to be working at least. The move attacking applies damage to the unit it does, yeah. Hey Galva, nice to meet you. We made it to Legendary, so we're very happy. We're up here in Legendary. We're just letting our bot play out and see what happens. Yeah, this is for coding game. This is the contest right now. Botters of the Galaxy are superheroes. And I was just doing a final sort of run-through. I was doing a final run-through of how I created my game strategy. We made it to Legendary. This is all I wanted to do. I'm not going to improve the strategy now. We did one final change to Fireball because I had a bit of math, and that was fun. And we added the point class. And now I'm just going through the state. And so I think it was Reknakas you asked earlier, or somebody, not you, somebody asked about the difficulties in Rust and what I don't like. And this move attack exemplifies everything I dislike about Rust so far. Nobody can tell me how to write this function better, and it's awful. If you see I call get hero mut, get hero, and then this loop does find by ID and determines if it's dead, and then it removes it in a second loop calling a find on it. This is awful. I don't know how to do this better in Rust, and the reason I have to do it this way is because of the borrow checker. You cannot have any shortcut references, things you might want to modify. So every time I want to modify the hero, and I have to split this up into multiple lines, multiple loops, and pretty much this here in any other language would only be about 3-4 lines of code. And so this setup here, this is really Rust, and this is a weak point I have right now. And I keep trying to learn how to do this better. And the guys over at the Rust forums have been helpful, but nobody has told me any way to do this type of thing better yet. We don't know how to do this cleaner. You just don't have that much of an option. Okay, and this is state applied. But let's get back to why do I even apply the attack? Moderate Seal, I might be the first one. It's been a great experience doing this, climbing up the boards. We did it before. This is the first competition, but we'll keep doing it for the other live stuff. I think it's lots of fun. It is kind of stressful to do. I'm probably not going to do like the first weekend I did this, the competition I was on for like 8 hours, and that was just too much. And that just wore me out. And I noticed my productivity for the bot tends to decline. And so I actually started making progress when I just did some stuff offline, and that was really helpful. I can also listen to music and eat food at the same time. Alright, but why do I do apply turn at all? And the only one I do is move attack, and why do I do apply turn? And it comes down to one thing, or two things. It comes down to this, mainly this if find last hit. We have two players in the game. If find last hit says, well, if our combined damage would kill one of the enemy units, let's kill him. And so the first guy attacks him and he does damage. And then the second guy, he actually doesn't do a find last hit. He doesn't combine the damage, just takes his own. And this is where it's very important that the state actually modifies that and says, okay, so this guy's lower down. And the attack's also important to prevent the second guy from attacking somebody that's already dead. And we also do buy item because we remove gold to make sure the second guy doesn't try to buy something when there's no gold left. And so that's why we modify the state on our own turn, is to make sure that we don't trip over each other. And I think this is important. I don't know how much further down we'd go in the ladders if we got rid of this, but it definitely does help in some spots, and I'm assuming it gains us some points in the ladder. I have this strange feeling that the fireball change actually put us lower in the ranks, which is really weird. Oh, but we're up to 64, so maybe not. We were just at the 50, so this is fine. Let's just leave it. Let's assume it works. And we'll just leave it, and I don't know when the announcements are made. I don't know when the final score comes in or anything. If anybody knows that, I don't know when we get the final scores. It's going to here. We're not going to be high in there. We're going to be stuck here, but again, we're legendary, very happy. We're very happy with gold. We were sitting high in the gold the whole time, but I'm super happy that we made legendary today. That was like our bonus goal already. Anything beyond legendary, just not being at the bottom of legendary is totally cool with us. Okay, so edA-qa, tomorrow morning we'll get the final score, and as more people get in legendary, if we sit at 50, 60, halfway point in legendary, I'll be totally fine with this. I will not be upset. I'll be happy with that in every regard. And that'll give us a lot of points so that when we're in coding game, you notice we slipped down to mentor here before because, hey, we don't have much points. And we're slipping down to mentor because we're slowly losing points on Clash of Code because we don't play. And yeah, edA-qa, they have to do the balancing again though, right? So they're going to do the balancing. In 8 hours they're going to do the balancing. And who knows where we're going to be. people, I assume, are going to work on this all evening, and I'm just not going to. I've had enough. Okay, but if we get those points, if Euler is correct that we get some 2,000 points, that'll replace our Clash of Codes score, and that'll put us safely into this Master realm here, I guess. And it's just nice to have Master instead of Mentor for the show. And once we're done that, we're going to come back and do other multiplayer games. So we'll go back to compete and go to other multiplayer games and see what we have, and just try a new one, and just explore Rust some more and see how we can do it. We can do threading apparently, so we'll do threading for no other reason than because, hey, why not? You don't actually get any more performance on coding game because you only get one CPU. But we can see what other bot programming we have here. I don't know which ones we've done. We've done Code for Life and Tron and MeanMax. The only ones. There's a whole bunch more here we can do. And find something else interesting to do. I have no idea which ones people find fun. But we'll take a look at it, and we'll find one to play afterwards, and we'll start that again probably on Thursday or Friday. We'll start the next one. Or I might just take a break and go to the practice mode for a bit. But they're really no fun. There's no points, no glory. These are just algorithm solving and community puzzles maybe. We don't know. We'll see what we do with that. Okay, I don't know what else I have to say if there's any more questions. I want to see who we're losing against here, just for curiosity's sakes. Bomberman? I love Bomberman! Okay, Hypersonic. Hypersonic it is then. Hypersonic. Big circle on my paper. And this is how I make notes in life. And, you know, if I don't see it there, then it's not important enough. I'll write it again. So we're still slowly climbing. So I think we're totally fine. I'm not going to submit again. We're just done. We're not submitting. We're absolutely done. We'll leave it. Again, we made Legendary. We're happy. Let's take this photo. Can I take a screenshot here somewhere? And we'll go tweet this thing, because hey, why not? Twitter, and what do we have? Where is that thing? Temp. Alright, now I'll tweet it again. We'll see what happens. I should have put, like, coding game or something on it, but that's fine. I don't know what else I have to say. I think I'm done. I think I'm done for the day. I think I'm done for this competition. It's been lots of fun. I'd like to thank everybody that's watched. Everybody that's given me cheers. Everybody's had something nice to say. Everybody's followed me. Everybody watched the show. This has been great fun and a great experience. And I'll be back again later this week. We'll start something new. And GalvaBot we started in January. My first AI bot I wrote basically in January. And that's when we started learning Rust. So this is since then. I'm not entirely new to this programming thing though, so it should be okay. But come back and watch again. We'll keep doing this, and I'm going to go do something else for now. And I'm going to keep working on, I'm going to go back and work on Leaf probably today. That's my own programming language, Leaf. It's not here yet. We can do such things, but I'll do some graphics. We'll see that. I thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you again during the week. Evening Rust will continue late in the week, Thursday, Friday. Tomorrow will probably be the Fuse stream. Just follow me on Twitter, Twitch, wherever, and you'll get a notice for it. I thank you all very much, and I'll post my final status when they link it up tomorrow. But I'm not going to submit anything more here. So thank you all very much. It's been a lot of fun. Bye.